So thanks for joining me again down at Leaky Left Boot. I'm out this morning and I'm going to be walking around Burbage Rocks and the Burbage Valley just around here. So it's going to be a short walk. It's about 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, just under 6 miles, sorry. And I've parked here. So that's the National Trust car park down at Longshore. It's free if you remember, you have to pay if it's not. There is a free car park up here as well, but it's quite small, probably about 20 or 30 cars. And then the route I'm going to take is a walk up the road here, and then there's a path, fairly obvious path, takes you out onto the edge of Burbage Moor, and then up and over the rocks here. All the way around. So that's Burbage South, and then up Burbage North, all the way to Upper Burbage Bridge. Going to turn back on myself at that point, and then walk up here to Higger Tor, carry on down, and then I'm going to cut across at that point. We're going to go to Wark, Iron Age Hill Fort, and then down. There's a little pack horse bridge there. We'll go across that, across the valley, back to this bridleway here, which is Duke's Drive, and that will take us back down here, and back to the car park. Now this is quite an interesting site. This was originally in the 1950s been assessed for whether or not it would be suitable to be flooded for a reservoir. Thankfully they decided they weren't going to do that. It wasn't suitable. And then not long after that, in the late 60s, early 70s, it was decided that a woodland was going to be planted, which is what this is that you can see here. Now the aim of that, or the purpose, was that they were going to try and make it look like the map of Great Britain from above, which sort of does, but you might notice there's a bit missing. So Cornwall, in the West Country, has been wiped off the map, and the reason is because this area, or this valley, was used in 1944 by Canadian forces and the British Home Guard as a practice place for D-Day. For the D-Day landings. So this area here is where Cornwall would have been, and where those bombings took place, and where that practice took place. And here actually I'll show you, just across the valley, we'll show you some rocks where you can see evidence of that. We'll try and find that on the way back. Wark is an Iron Age hill fort and in site of an ancient scheduled monument. So we'll take a look at that when we're there. A few other things that we can see. There's a little quarry here, so I'm going to have a wander into that. I might actually skip across there to that path and then along to the quarry and back. But yeah, we'll see what we can see. It's windy out, it's going to be cold. It is cold. It was minus 1.3 when I got in the car this morning. So we'll see how we get on. But yeah, I'll meet you outside and we'll get going. So we're off. Longshore car park is a National Trust car park, so free for members. It's empty at the moment. What time is it? It is, find my watch, 8:30. Bang on time. It's a beautiful sunny day. I think we're going to get some really good views. And we're going up. Oh, quick, I'm going to get run over. Ready? We survived. We're still alive. We've still got 2 legs. Not quite sure if we'll make it through the ice. But yeah, we're going to head up there. We can walk through this gate here. This will take us up over the bit of the Burbage Rocks. How do I get through these gates? There we go. It's bigger than me. Close that properly. Let's go. That sun's quite warm. I'm liking the fact that the sun is quite warm because it's cold. I was expecting it to be wet, but I think it's all going to be frozen over. That's Wark and Higger Tor behind it. In really good sunlight. It's an amazing day. That little blip in the distance there is Mother Cap. The route's quite easy to follow. It's a really good path. We're rising up onto the above Duke's Drive, which is down there. There's a young gentleman walking down it. If you don't want to go high, Duke's Drive just goes all the way down the middle of the valley there. We're going high. We're going up over the edges, takes us around, across over there, and into the what's left of the woodlands there.
But anyway, hiya, morning.
Morning.
How are we doing a live thing?
Okay. We're about 10 minutes into the walk, and you'll see things like this out here, especially down here. You see lots of millstones that have just been left, and this is a water trough. So there were these get cut out on site. This was part way through being constructed, being chiselled, and it cracked. So they just left it. Amazing bit of history. Same again. Don't know if that's recent. Another crack there. Oh, it's icy. There's actually ice in the water. It's frozen. And it smells. So we'll leave that there. We'll head on back to the path and we'll carry on walking. This gives us a great view of the valley now. In the early 60s or around the 60s, the council corporation, don't know if it was Sheffield or not, was contemplating whether this should be flooded to be built as another reservoir further along, way over that way, somewhere over there. You've got Howden Dam, Lady Bower Dam, Derwent Dam, and this was considered for that site. You've got Burbage Brook, you can see the path of it, kind of follows the tree line, it runs down through the centre, and considered in the end not suitable to be built as a reservoir, which I'm thankful for because this is an amazing place to walk. It would be a shame to not have this for it to be flooded. And the replacement for the once it was decided it wasn't going to be a reservoir, that's when the woodland was planted, late 60s, early 70s. Not in keeping at all with the environment. Conservation then wasn't as high as it was now. It wasn't as I guess important as it is now. You can see the last remains of the trees that are still there, probably going to be felled at some point. The one still standing. Despite the wind and the freezing cold, there's nearly decked it. There's a definite feel of spring is in the air. You can see down there, see the frost. I think the blue sky means summer's coming and spring is coming, although not in that order. Let's go. It's a very refreshing breeze. After the week I've had, this walk is needed. I feel free. I feel safe out here. Oh. Well, clearly the ice is very thick because I am not falling through it. Right, we're at the cairn. We're not even halfway. But this is a split, so you drop down. We've just been up the edges. We've just been along that edge there, Burbage South. And it drops down here, this path. And then you get to the cairn. And where that lady in blue is going, with her beautiful dog. Who's going to carry her up there. And then that takes you up to Burbage North. Depending on what kind of walks you like. This is... if you come early in the morning, it's usually pretty quiet. You don't get many people. It's only 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Longer if you want it to be. Take it easy. Usually I try and get here early in the morning, especially summertime. You'll find that you're by yourself a lot. Heavy on the wind. This is the path that's going to take us to Higger Tor that's right there in front of us. That's the remains of the woodland down there. The Great British woodland that has been felled. There's not a lot of it left. Ooh. On the home straight. Well, not even that. We're nowhere near home, but we are going up Higger Tor. So this is the actually a small climb. It's not that bad. I don't enjoy the steps. On the other side over there we have Burbage Brook, Burbage Valley, and on the opposite side, down here, bring you round, that's Higger Valley, down there. See, back to the cement factory again, and then in the distance you see Great Ridge. So I'm going to carry on, have a bit of a wander around on Higger Tor. Going to sit down at some point, have my lunch in the cold, and then a cup of coffee, and I'll get moving again onto Wark. I found myself an island. I'm stuck in the mud. There's nowhere off. How am I going to get through here without losing a shoe? I think we're going to go back. Screw it. Let's go for it. Oh, squelch. Oh, it's not that bad actually. It's frozen. Survived. Still got 2 legs. Right, let's walk down here. It's not as bad as it looks actually. It's quite a lot of stepping stones. I use one hand, which I have to kind of hold the camera. There we go. If I can do it, anyone can. Dodgy legs, scared of heights. That's it, to be honest. It's not even that far. Ow! And right, take your pick, that way or that way. We'll go this way. We're down. We didn't come down that far, just up there. We did take a little bit of a detour. Those are the rocks. You can go. I came down the right hand side, down there, which I don't think you're supposed to, but the path goes up there. As long as you don't end up down there, where the sheepfold is, you're alright. Pretty spectacular, from 2,500 years ago, and someone's left some shoes. It's a right boot. I wonder if it leaks. Anyway, we'll leave it there. I'm out of the wind, so I'm going to sit here and have a coffee and enjoy that view. Leaving Higger Tor behind, and Wark, which is up there. There's a path that intersects the two. It's very boggy. Prepare yourself for wet feet, and oh, it's slippery as well. But this takes us back down to underneath Wark, down to the little pack horse bridge, and bottom to the bottom of where the woodland used to be that you can see there, pretty much all felled. So yeah, where Cornwall should be if it hadn't been wiped off the map by unexploded ordnance. That's over the Packhorse Bridge, and this is Cornwall that doesn't exist. No more waddling through mud. well, not a lot, but I'm going to follow this track back up to underneath Burbage Rocks. That's Burbage Rocks South, and see if you can find some artifacts from World War II and the quarry. Behind me there is the last of the forest that you can see, also where Cornwall would have been. Then down there is, at the bottom, Pack Horse Bridge area is where Canadian troops in the I think it was 1944 and British Home Guard practiced firing, so that's where all the unexploded ordnance would have been. This is what they were firing at, any kind of tank-sized boulder. So if you come up just off of Duke's Drive little path, you can see all of these rocks with deep pitted pock marks like that, and it was bullets, anti-tank, whatever they call them, and they're all over. That one out. That must have been a bullet and a half. Back in the wind. This is inside the quarry. These are the old abandoned millstones that got half made and then left. That's what we were still on top of this morning. And as you can see, people camp and make fires, which is not nice. Camping, not so bad. Fires, don't do it.
Find me a nice soft one, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's just about finding the right one, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a path in. You want to go to the visitor cafe and toilets that way, as in down there. We're going back to the car park, which is that way. Boom.